goal of real quality. Sunderland 1, Luton 0.
A reminder of the two teams. Schmeichel is in goal. A back four of Johnston, Carter-Vickers, Trustee and Taylor, Hattati, McGregor and Engels, Kuhn, Idar and Maida. What a boost to have Dyson Maida available for this game. They thought originally he would be suspended, but that second match of that two-game ban has been lifted on appeal as Bayern Munich get us underway, and in their predominantly all black, they are with the fleckled front of their shirts and a little bit of pink in the numbers on the back of their jerseys. They are playing from right to left as we look. They have Neuer in goal, Lima, Upamecano, Dyer and Guerrero, Elise, Goretzka, Kimmich and Musiala, Sane and Harry Kane. As Celtic get off to a dream start! Oh my word! Nicholas Kuhn with a low left-footed shot! Inside 30 seconds, you could not have wished for a better start, but the celebrations are going to get cut short. The referee has his arm in the air. It'll go to VAR. Oh my word.
I didn't see anything wrong with it, so the assistant must have seen something here. You know, the shot itself, he's cut in from the wide area. They're not having much of a look. No, he's telling them to wait. I couldn't see anything wrong with it. However, a player may have been in offside, but we need to find out, was he affecting the view that Neuer had? That's what we're going to be waiting here for just now. And Celtic have lined up as if they're expecting the goal to be chopped off just now. But they're still waiting. What a hit though. But Kuhn, he just cut in from the side and they're not getting it.
Goal disallowed after 27 seconds. Celtic. And listen to the noise now. That, though, is definitely a warning for Bayern. It remains 0-0.
Well, it just shows the confidence of Kuhn. He's been very, very good for Celtic this season. But he got the ball and he just cut inside. Defenders nowhere near him. And, you know, you don't give players, it doesn't matter what level, you don't give them that amount of space. And certainly that left back area, Guerrero, much too casual he was. He won't do that again.
Former German under-21 international, did join Bayern 5 years ago, but only played for their second string. Sane over the halfway line, Musiala was there, they get it out towards Elise, but Taylor was covering and tucked in, and back towards Schmeichel. Just when you thought this place couldn't get any louder.
Right start to the game. But again, although Celtic don't get the goal, I don't think it'll take any wind out of their sails at all. Purely because of the fact they think, well, we can score, we can beat this team, we can get beyond them. They've done it in 27 seconds, so they can do it again. So that will definitely give them a boost in the lift.
They'd only just finished trotting out the two teams, and then Kuhn coming in off this near side, low left-footed, but disallowed. And the Spanish referee did have his arm up very, very quickly. Here is Upamecano for Bayern, out towards that far side. Whereas Kimmich is the one who's actually playing as the right back. Lima has gone into midfield. Lima actually has played as a right back on a number of occasions this season for Bayern. 21 of his 25 appearances actually have been at right back, but he plays the ball out towards Elise, cuts inside, Elise shoots, left-footed block, picked up by Lima, still inside the penalty area, and his right-footed effort is off target. The referee's flag, assistant's flag on the far side is up anyway. What a start we've had here 3 minutes in.
This looks like two teams that want to slug it out. Absolutely want to slug it out. Two chances for both teams, offside both, but real openness about this game.
Taylor forward on that left-hand side, heads it forward. Maida was there. Bayern get the ball back. Let's go to Goodison, John Murray.
There it is, Everton 1, Liverpool 1. We've got just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. Beto the scorer for Everton. Liverpool equalising through McAllister's header 5 minutes later. We've got some atmospheres tonight on the radio, Ian.
Certainly have. It is one of those nights for the senses. Burnley, remember, are leading Hull City by a goal to 0. Bristol City are 1-0 up against Stoke City in the Championship. Sunderland are a goal to the good 2. And Plymouth, bottom of the Championship, are leading Millwall by 2 goals to 0 at Home Park. Earlier in the Champions League, Bruges beat Atalanta by 2 goals to 1. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. We're also available on BBC Sounds. And if you missed it ahead of kickoff, then BBC Sounds will give you that opportunity to press the rewind button and listen again, and it is certainly worth doing it. It was spine-tingling as Musiala to Lima, coming forward, the Austrian threads it through, looking for the run of Sane. Johnston tucked in, plays it towards Kuhn, still 0-0. 5 minutes played, Kuhn deep inside his own half, plays it forward, it'll go towards Goretzka. They've made 4 changes from the team that beat Werder Bremen 3-0 at home on Friday night up at Meccano. One of them is Goretzka coming back into the side, very experienced German midfielder. Celtic, now Kimmich all of a sudden moves into that central role. Looks like maybe Kimmich and Lyman might alternate, Pat, at the minute.
Yeah, and Kimmich, well, I was going to say he's played there before. He's played everywhere before. That's the thing about Joshua Kimmich. He's very, very special, but yeah, totally adaptable and will spell it either way.
However, it does, if he continues to drift in field, the out ball for Maida to make a run on that Celtic left.
Yeah, one of them has to make sure they stay with Maida, because if you give Maida a little start, you ain't catching him. Nobody's catching him.
He's a human dynamo, is Dyson Maida. As the ball is played out towards Lima on that right-hand side, it means Elise can just drift a little bit further in field. Lima has stayed out wide level with the penalty area. Bayern Munich attacking. We're going to see a lot of the ball. 6 minutes played. 0-0. Here is Eric Dyer, last started against Freiburg towards the end of January. Guerrero was sold short, Engels nipped in. Celtic have the ball now, back it goes towards Carter Vickers. Only made 4 appearances at Tottenham Hotspur. Never actually played with Harry Kane, but I'm sure when he wasn't being sent out on loan, he would have trained with the England captain, as Maida now has got a chance to run forward. Then he gives the ball away, and Goretzka plays it up towards Kane. He's got fond memories of Glasgow, scored on both of his visits to Hampden Park with England. As Elise coming forward now for Bayern Munich. Kimmich moving into that midfield role, helped out by Musiala. Elise enters the penalty area, does a couple of step overs. Musiala plays it in low, and off the legs of Trusty, balloons behind for a corner kick. Feyenoord lead Milan by a 0-0.
Slightly too easy for Elise to get into the box here and get to the byline. Nobody really challenging him. You've got to challenge him a little bit wider, because if he's in the box you cannot tackle, and he's got lots of options, particularly Harry Kane.
So this corner kick for Bayern Munich over on that far side. Celtic have got everybody back bar Kuhn, so Lima has had to go back with Nicholas Kuhn, as the corner is on that far side to right. It's a deep one. It was headed out by Johnston, helped further away by Hatate, guided back by Kimmich towards that right hand side where Elise waits, doesn't deliver the cross. Now he does, off the head of Ida, loops in towards the penalty area, comes out to Upper Meccano, who's skied it. There's been another goal at Turf Moor. Nick Hatton.
Burnley 2, Hull 0. Deno, Zian Fleming it is with a header, cross from the right hand side from Jayden Anthony, and there was Fleming to head home from 7 yards out. Burnley 2, Hull 0.
It's going to be Trusty to take the corner kick. He was talking yesterday about the dream of playing in the Champions League knockout stages for a young boy growing up in Pennsylvania. Also hasn't been a bad few days for him, bearing in mind that he's a Philadelphia Eagles supporter in the NFL. You never know, it might be a good occasion for the green and whites.
That would be a double and a half.
Here is Guerrero coming forward, leaves it for Sane, the former Manchester City player. Kimmich again moves into that midfield role, floats the ball forward. Taylor heads it away under pressure from Elise, who was making that run in behind him, and then Maida has sliced it, and it goes out of play for a Bayern throw. Pat Nevin. After
that very exciting start for Celtic, the goal that chopped off, they looked really, really good on the ball for about 3 minutes. Since then, Celtic have hardly had a kick. It's complete domination of the ball by Bayern, but not boring, passing the ball about in the back. They want to get through Celtic, and at the moment Celtic would just love to get Callum McGregor on the ball, just to calm them down, get everyone a little bit of a touch, but they've got a break on.
Elise loses the ball, breaks towards Hatate, over the halfway line. Vincent Kompany berates the fourth official. We actually don't have any monitors here, so we don't know. We haven't had a chance to see it again as to why that goal was ruled out inside the opening 30 seconds. As McGregor lifts the ball through, Maida heads it towards Ida. Dyer stoops, heads it, and then Neuer makes the save away towards his right-hand side. But don't forget, Champions League match of the day tonight, BBC One, 10:40.
Yeah, very confident that, if you're going to head the ball back in the area and there's an opponent really near to you, it's quite handy to have Neuer as the one you're heading it back to. Neuer, he dealt with that very, very well. And you can see what Neuer does today, because he has been pushed. a few times when he's had the ball at his feet. We know he was probably the best in the business as a goalkeeper with a ball at his feet, but recently it's been getting a wee bit harder for him because he's getting a little bit older, not quite as quick with his feet as he used to be.
Being told that Adamida was in an offside position and blocking the view of Neuer, and that was the reason why the officials cancelled out that goal. It remains 0-0. We've been playing for 10 minutes. Blonde-haired Lima collects the ball midway through the Celtic half. Plays it back then. Kimmich sends over a cross, which Johnston will head away. Picked up by Sane, gets the return ball back. Sane tries to flick it through. This is Guerrero, might run towards Guerrero, and Schmeichel was quickly off his goal line and dives at the feet of the Bayern player just outside the 6-yard box, as Trusty now can come forward for Celtic.
One of the nice things about Celtic, they've got great belief in their ability. They will continue to play out from the back. They believe in themselves. And certainly Kasper Schmeichel, again another keeper who's made a couple of mistakes with his feet of late. But that's the way Celtic play, and that's the way they need to play, because if you play it long and give the ball away easily, you will not see it for a long time.
They have certainly progressed in this competition, but at the same time they appear to have matured in Europe, Celtic.
Yeah, they have. At the start of the season you worried if that was going to be the case after that Dortmund debacle, if we can call it that. But yeah, I think you've got a good manager there, a good manager who understands the capabilities of his players, and certainly some of the players that have come in and grown with the team, such as Kuhn, such as Ida, have really added something.
Well, Ida just made a run off the ball. Upamecano didn't go with him, but wasn't spotted that run, but that's what he does bring. I mean, they are certainly going to miss Kyogo, the striker who was sold. Supporters are pleased and have been appeased by the return of Jota, but he's hardly played much football since he left Celtic. Ida's got a run in the team now, shows his strength to hold up Upamecano. Celtic win the ball back through Engels. McGregor, Carter Vickers, Bayern press. Johnston looks for the run now of Kuhn. Tries to get in behind Dyer. Dyer recovers very, very well with a sliding challenge and guides the ball back to his keeper, Neuer.
That's brilliant defending by Dyer. You know, in difficult times, sometimes when he was back at Tottenham, but he's doing well now.
Lima runs away from Maida, finds Elise, formerly of Crystal Palace. Musiala, he can roam. He's always a dangerous player, is Musiala. As Elise comes in field, links up with Harry Kane. Elise off the right thigh, looks for a shooting opportunity, gets the shot away, and Schmeichel makes the save at his near post behind for a corner kick, 0-0.
He glides over the ground, Elise. Very, very special. He's taking his top off weirdly. I don't think you're allowed to do that. But I think he's finding himself rather amazingly too warm tonight, Elise. He's taking his undershirt off and putting his top back on. Well, I'd book him for that, mate.
It's a cold night in Glasgow, so one can only think that is just the atmosphere that has warmed up Celtic Park as Elise has done away with the undergarment. And he takes that corner kick, doesn't beat the first man, headed away by McGregor, the Celtic captain. Elise headed towards Kimmich, infield now. This is Sane, back with Kimmich once again. His left-footed ball in towards the penalty area. It was Trusty who climbed high. Header out towards Musiala. Musiala can't get a shooting opportunity. Goes square. Sane leaves it for Kimmich, floats it. Harry Kane is peeled away to this near side, the left. Bayern are playing from right to left. Harry Kane curls in a ball that Schmeichel has to deal with, and he dives forward and fists it away with both hands.
They're really struggling to get out on the Celtic, and the pace the Bayern are playing it just now is fabulous. And as I was saying just before the game, Sane gliding over the ground, Elise looking very, very special.
Guerrero forward, finds Harry Kane, drills it hard into his feet, couldn't control it on the edge of the area. Musiala though takes over for Bayern. He goes with a square pass. Lima 30 yards out, short ball. Elise gives it back towards Kimmich. Celtic being forced back, still at 0-0. Elise running forward on his toes, right corner of the area, sends over a cross. Harry Kane waits, and it needed Johnston to head it behind for a corner, 0-0.
You just worry how many times can Celtic allow that to happen. Crosses coming in from the right and the left, but mostly from the right hand side from Elise. That's about 3 he's put in already. And Harry Kane, time and time again, you know he's going to be between the posts. He lives there, he will be there. He's looking for half a yard. On the last occasion there, he got away from both centre backs, and it was just fortunately Johnson was able to head it away as the right full back.
We're in the quarter of an hour mark then here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Still goalless in the east end of Glasgow. Bayern Munich, though, have a corner kick on this near side there left. Harry Kane makes the run at the far post. Ida heads it away, doesn't beat the first man at the near post. Back to Eric Kane. Kimmich back towards Elise. Infield now towards Sane. Sane drags it back out. Elise still on the left. Waits. Short forward ball. Sane able to turn. Edge of the area. Looks for a shooting opportunity. Sane goes square. This is Goretzka. Shuffles the ball back towards Musiala. Celtic have to keep their concentration. Have to keep their shape. Bayern still have the ball. Goretzka with his back to goal. Lima. Forward ball now to Musiala. Over on that far side, the right. Back towards Lima. Helps it on its way towards Kimmich. And Kimmich then will pass the ball. In the league phase, nobody had more touches than Joshua Kimmich. 895 in the league phase, the most of any player. You can see why, the way that Bayern have played in these opening 16 minutes. He likes to get involved as the Bayern captain. Here is Eric Dyer.
It's total control, absolute total control. The thing is with Celtic, they're not used to playing like this. 99% of the games that Celtic play, they have total domination and total control. So it's very difficult to play a game that is alien to them.
Musiala, right corner of the area, able to turn, still with the ball at his feet. Celtic, though, still keeping Bayern at bay. Upamecano now, back into the centre circle on the halfway line. Celtic now do push out, and there was a slip there by Lima. And Maida couldn't take advantage, but he lets it run out of play because that will just offer a brief respite for a Celtic throw.
It's just a shame there because Maida couldn't take it in his stride there. Had he taken it in his stride, he would have had a run on the fullback there, Lima, and it would have been intriguing to see him have his first run at a fullback. He's not had one yet.
Johnston back to Carter Vickers. Schmeichel in his luminous goalkeeping outfit couldn't pass the ball out to the right hand side, so had to shift it to Trusty. His forward ball headed by Maida. Engels plays it down first time at around knee height, up towards Adam Ida, who will run forward. And does he win a corner kick? The referee will have a look at it and says no. Much to the dismay and annoyance of the Celtic crowd. Goal kick to Bayern.
Yes, down at that corner there where the Celtic ultras are. That wasn't going to go down very well, was it? But at least it's a little bit of a break for Celtic. And again, Ida, who's had very little input into the game so far, he's had a one-on-one there, and he's shown that he's got the pace of at least one of the defenders he's been against. It was Lehmann on this occasion, and he will like to get another chance. He's only had one chance to hit around the defender, and he's done not too badly with it.
That's Pat Nevin, who's with us here tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds in this Champions League playoff tie. And next week we will be in Munich and we will be in Madrid for the return legs, but they'll be flipped. So we'll be in Munich on the Tuesday night, and then the return leg at the Bernabeu for Manchester City after that dramatic game at Etihad last night. Guerrero, ball inside. Sane holds the ball up left of the centre circle, darts into the centre circle with a little bit of acceleration. Lima, Sane's continued that run ahead of the Austrian. Lima, though, plays the ball forward towards Elise, slows it down level with the area, closed down by Taylor. Elise creates the overlap for Kimmich. First time cross, drilled in low, might come towards Guerrero. Challenge from Hatate. Celtic were alive to the danger, but Bayern still have the possession.
It's just so difficult. I mean, they're playing really well, Bayern Munich. I mean, they are zipping it quickly. It's not boring, controlling the game just for the sake of it. They're trying to get spaces, and Celtic have got an offside there, and they needed that. They really needed that. They're under such pressure just now. They cannot get on the ball. McGregor just a moment ago there, who is the player who controls it for Celtic. He tried to press a little bit higher this time on the back line of Bayern Munich. Problem was his teammates didn't come behind him. You can't press as one. Everyone needs to do it together.
Celtic soaking up the pressure as we tick our way towards 20 minutes here at Parkhead. Engels plays it to Johnston. Back towards Engels. Goretzka breaks up the play. Bayern get it back. Engels goes into the challenge with Goretzka. Johnston will clear it. The Canadian international up against Ida. That was a good little tussle between Upamecano. Upamecano knew he couldn't go back to Neuer because of Kuhn's presence, so he cut the ball forward and found Kimmich. And Kimmich then towards Lima. And they're talking about a quality side that Celtic are up against.
Absolutely.
Ball over the top, bouncing, and into the arms of Schmeichel. It's when Celtic get those opportunities they've got to be clinical.
Yeah, but I mean, there have been half chances to actually just get on the ball, as opposed to half chances to score a goal in the last 15 or so minutes. But they'll keep on going. I mean, they've gone through difficult times before, but they know they've got pace up front. They know they've got Maeda. They know they've got Ida who can do that. And I just wonder, I mentioned before the game, if you could maybe switch Maeda and Ida once or twice, because Maeda, with his small stature, might cause Dyer and Upamecano a few more problems, but they haven't changed it yet.
Well, he's certainly very much a player in form. 21 goals this season, so that's the same that he's had is combined of his previous 2 seasons, and 6 of those have come in his last 3. Half-time at Goodison, John Murray.
Where it is Everton 1, Liverpool 1. We had the 2 early goals. Beto shooting Everton in front from Branthwaite's beautifully placed free kick through to him. But Liverpool equalising 5 minutes later with their first attempt. McAllister stretching header from a Salah cross. Barely any other clear chances until right at the end of the half, when Pickford fumbled a shot from Szoboszlai. Diaz was almost in, but Tarkowski came to the rescue for Everton. We've had 3 yellows for Everton, 2 for Liverpool, 1 goal each, and it's frantic in keeping with many of the earlier 119 derbies here.
Ball over the top towards Kuhn, and it runs through to Manuel Neuer in the Bayern goal.
We're just talking about those goals at Goodison Park. The Liverpool goal, it looked as if Pickford was actually ushering the ball past the goal, and it went in. So I'm sure that will be picked apart later.
We're yet to have a goal so far here at Celtic Park. Celtic 0, Bayern Munich 0. Although Celtic did have that goal inside the opening 60 seconds ruled out, which would have been a start that only Brendan Rodgers could have dreamed about. Here is Guerrero on this near side, the left. Goretzka. Musiala comes deep. Back towards Goretzka again. The German international, tall and lean. Upamecano's forward ball. Sane goes into a central area. Trusty came out of defence to go with Sane. Then he picked out the run of Lima, because that's where they're getting joy on that right-hand side, as the ball is in towards a combination of Sane and Harry Kane. But Celtic deal with it. Maeda is back there. He tries to hook it away. Comes towards McGregor. It's a heavy touch. Loses out. Musiala forward to Harry Kane. Harry Kane with a shot. Good sliding challenge coming in from Trusty. And then Harry Kane stumbles and presents Celtic with a throw over on that far side. First sight that he'd had a goal, really, Harry Kane.
Absolutely, but I don't know about desperation, but it's pretty close to it. There's diving tackles in at the last moment. Headers from crosses that are coming in, that if you don't get your head on them, that Bayern will score. And Celtic are going to have to keep on doing that, you would imagine, for most of the rest of the night. The levels of concentration that are needed for this type of defending are incredible.
All of a sudden Celtic can come forward. Kuhn played down the side on this near side. He's got Engels going ahead of him. Engels cuts the ball back. Kimmich appears to be everywhere at the moment. Kimmich had spotted the danger, fell to the floor as he slid in and cleared on the edge of the Bayern penalty area. But that was a promising attack by Celtic. Here is Harry Kane coming forward, playing the ball back towards Guerrero.
Yeah, I think you called it absolutely right there. Kimmich he knew what the problem was going to be even before it arose. But the break from Celtic was very good, though. They've got 3 or 4 players up there. They showed their pace, so clearly that's what Brendan Rodgers has been working on, to make sure that when they get the odd break, you just absolutely break a leg to get in there.
Guerrero to Goretzka at a walking pace. Bayern Munich playing from right to left as we look. Ball chipped into the path of Harry Kane, left-hand side of the penalty area. Flicks it back. McGregor was there. And then Engels has put the ball straight out of play. I think he thought that Johnston automatically would be in that right-back position. Went out for a Bayern throw that's taken quickly. Kane finds Musiala. Musiala plays it to Guerrero, who stayed forward on this near side, the left. Rolls the ball back. Harry Kane, left corner of the area. Upamecano, 35 yards out from goal. He plays it towards Lima. Back towards Kimmich once again. Seems to be mentioning Kimmich's name more than anybody else. Here is Upamecano, midway through the Celtic half. Celtic try and get a foot into the challenge. Elise gets the ball back now in a central area. Musiala finds Sane into the box. Guerrero is available. Here he is. Hammers the ball across. Comes out towards Lima. Couldn't control it. Plays it forward. Harry Kane. Bayern still dominating. Still trying to find their way through. And Celtic desperately forcing them back and urged on by this crowd.
I mean, they're trying to get the odd break. They've got one now. They need to make use of it.
Taylor with the interception from left back. Plays it forward. Ida, left corner of the area. Backpedals his way out towards that left-hand side. Crucially holds on to the ball and then intelligently wins the throw off the legs of Elise.
I mean, they really have held on well, Celtic. They've had to defend so well, they've had to concentrate with every single player. Just about every player wearing black tonight is capable of scoring or creating a goal. They've managed to survive so far. They will hope they will get a part of the game. And right now, they're in the final third for one of the few times so far.
A sustained spell of possession for Celtic as we're still at 0-0, 25 minutes in. Great noise, as you'd expect, for their first time in the knockout stages of the Champions League in 12 years. And they're certainly doing better than they did against Juventus 12 years ago. They were 1-0 down after 3 minutes and ended up losing that first leg by 3-0. Brendan Rodgers talking about the need to stay alive in the tie. Callum McGregor, who's on the ball, he feels that Celtic need to win tonight. Brendan Rodgers in the press conference wasn't so sure.
I didn't want to be a hostage to fortune, you know. If they said we need to win,
yeah,
you don't get a win, you're kind of stuffed what you say to the team afterwards. So no, he's playing that quite coy, and understandable why he's doing that. But what Celtic are playing for just now is the pace from Bayern Munich has been brilliant at the start. They have really zipped it about quickly, they've closed down quickly. I think what Celtic will be wondering, can they do that for 90 minutes? Are they willing to keep on doing that? Will there be a period of time where the spaces start to open up and Celtic maybe can use it? The problem is Celtic have to survive until that happens.
Yes, and they're certainly having to concede a lot of the possession to Bayern Munich, who opt to rated their chances of going through in this tie as 75%, so the overwhelming favourites, not just in this tie but certainly in Bavaria. They'll be seen as, well, they will fancy themselves as one of the sides to win it. Whether that is actually the case, time will tell. Goretzka finds Kimmich inside the centre circle. Along the ground, up it goes to Elise. Maida is back with Elise. Goes on the outside of the Japanese international. Taylor doubles up on Elise, but it's helped out by Lima. They're very strong down that right flank. Elise, Lima, Kimmich, Goretzka, sometimes just patrolling that central midfield role all by himself at the moment, as Musiala goes up alongside Harry Kane. Guerrero joins Sane on this near side, the left, as Brendan Rodgers watches on. Vincent Kompany with that baseball cap, short puffer jacket on this chilly night. Been playing for 27 minutes. Dyer, up at Meccano. Short of the halfway line, Musiala trying to break away from the shackles of Engels, threads the ball through towards Guerrero. Guerrero to Sane, trotting his way in off that left touch line. Ball stuck to his feet. Engels tries to get a foot into the challenge. Sane still has it. Dyer out towards Conrad Lima. Half-time at Goodison in the Premier League. Everton 1, Liverpool 1. When that second half is underway for the 7:30 kickoff, we'll keep you in touch with John Murray at Goodison. 0-0 though here, Pat Nevin.
The possession stats must be off the scale just now, because the amount of ball that Bayern Munich have had, but you know, it's 0-0. We're talking earlier before the game that Celtic had to do this against, I think it was Atalanta earlier on, and they managed to survive it. It was tight sometimes and they had to ride the luck now and again, but they managed to do it. They managed to get the point that they needed out of it. But looking at the way Celtic are playing just now, you just think that, we just said before the game, actually I met with Steve who said it, Kasper Schmeichel's going to have one of the best games of his life, and he's going to have to be the best player. Well, in actual fact, he's not had a great deal to do yet.
No.
He's been well protected by his backline.
And just recall the one save at his near post from Elise in this first half here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Lima over the halfway line. Maida with the interception. Back it goes to the Celtic left back Taylor. McGregor gives it back towards Taylor. Hatate gets a touch. McGregor mixed into the path of Engels. Engels comes forward. Sane tries to curb the run and does very, very well, does Leroy Sane. Showed his strength as well to held off Engels. Back it goes towards Neuer, and Bayern back in possession.
That was maybe Celtic's best possession they've got into in the last 20 minutes or so. And you didn't expect it to be Sane who was getting back there. And he did. He worked really hard. And that was maybe a question mark earlier in his career that he didn't do that sort of work. Well, he's doing it here tonight.
Martin, our engineer, tells me it's 72%.
You know what?
It
feels like more than that.
Elise comes in off that right touchline. Harry Kane with a layup. Musiala drives forward. Musiala, conscious of McGregor behind him. It was a rather heavy touch. It went away from him and allowed Schmeichel to pick the ball up. McGregor did enough to put him off.
Also, and Trusty didn't dive in. That's the big get. You don't dive in there. If you go in there, you could give away a penalty kick, first of all, but secondly, you probably just get beat there. He made sure that he get Musiala to make the decision. He made the decision. They tried to make the decision, but because he was surrounded there, it was not enough. But another moment of worry for Celtic.
Trying to play out from the back. Kuhn gives it away. Carter Vickers and Johnston had some nervous moments before that. That was what Pat was referring to. Referee has played an advantage for a foul on Musiala. Bayern still have it. German voices you might be able to hear in the corner away towards our right-hand side. Nearly 3,000 of them have made the trip from Bavaria. Here is Sane. Bypasses Kimmich. Dyer comes forward. Leaves it for Kimmich once again. Square, short ball, Upamecano. Full-backs are pushed on and pushed in. Here is Musiala coming in off the left touchline, loses the ball, then wins it back on the edge of the area. Musiala looks for the return ball. Sane is there. Schmeichel makes a save. Made himself big and got the block.
Yeah, but they're getting closer now. They're getting beyond that back line. That's twice in the last minute or so that they've got behind that back line. And again, it's desperate defending. It's working so far, but it's getting hairier by the minute.
Big night in the Championship with a chasing pack, all looking to close down leaders Leeds United. Half-time at the Stadium of Light, Rob Law.
And Sunderland are doing their job so far. They lead by a goal to nil thanks to Enzo Lefebvre's first goal on loan from Roma. The difference so far, cutting from the left, guided a curling effort from distance into the far corner, and it gives you an idea why they absolutely love him on Weir side. All Sunderland, they lead 1-0.
Lima in towards Elise. Elise 6 yards out, comes back towards Kimmich. Hesitates, doesn't shoot straight away, plays it to Sane inside the penalty area. In comes the chip. Harry Kane is there. Great save by Schmeichel. Lima's missed kick. Second chance. Pulls it back. Bayern really now knocking on the door. Kimmich shot blocked. Hatate gets the ball away. Flag is raised over on that far side. Goal at Bramall Lane, Adam Cottier.
Sheffield United 1, Middlesbrough 0. It's Chester and Raksaki with it. A tap in, left-footed after they broke forward. Illing Jr. gave the ball away. Harmer played it through. O'Hare had his effort saved, and Raksaki put it in. 1-0 Sheffield United.
Celtic have conceded 72 possession to Bayern Munich. Celtic have made 73 total passes in this half.
They've really been utterly and completely dominated. It's not because Celtic are sitting back. They just can't get the ball. They can't get a hold of it at all. Every time they get it, they get closed down. They've not been good enough in the ball. A couple of players giving it away. Kuhn giving it away a little bit too easy. When you get it at this level, you must be able to hold on to it. Right now, it feels like it's going to happen. Celtic have to try and somehow last till half-time.
There is, on the balance of play, the feeling of an inevitability that Bayern are going to score.
Well, that 2 or 3 minutes there when Bayern got beyond the Celtic back line, and when Harry Kane gets one with the goalkeeper, you know we expect the ball to end up, but you know they've given the ball away again, Celtic.
Hatate lifts it forward, won't get there before Ida. It was Elise running in, able to turn away from Maida. Comes forward, Maida still snapping away at his heels. Elise, though, just plays it back towards Dyer. Bayern Munich have failed to score just twice in their last 24 games since they were beaten by a goal to nil at Villa Park at the start of October. Their away form actually let them down in the Champions League. That's why they're in these playoffs at Bayern Munich. Very, very strong at home. But Celtic will, just as Pat Nevin says, just try and get to half-time and keep out the German side. And in order to do so, they've got 11 more minutes to go to the break.
And they'll be exhausted, Celtic, as well, because they've been chasing shadows all night long. And, you know, it's really, really hard to do that. And you might even look at stats and say that Bayern are running a lot as well. But honestly, running without the ball is very hugely harder than running with the ball and passing the ball and keeping it and dominating and controlling it.
Goretzka forward to Guerreiro. Portuguese international plays it back to Eric Dyer. Comes to a standstill midway through his own half. Musiala has come deep to take over. He plays it then back to Eric Dyer. Lima had made a run on that right-hand side. It was on the inside of Elise at the moment, who must have a good 10 yards of freedom on that right touchline.
And to be honest, the player, if you're Celtic, you want at least to go to just now is Elise. He looks phenomenal on the ball at the moment.
Musiala makes the run forward, slips, goes to ground. Not once but twice. Gets a free kick. Nick Hatton at Turf Moor.
Yeah, half-time, Burnley 2, Hull City 0. Nothing more than Burnley deserve. Opening the scoring 3 minutes in through Bashir Humphries, his shot from the edge of the box, doubling their lead on the 20-minute mark. Zian Fleming, a header from 6 yards out to double Burnley's lead. More than they deserve, nothing more than they deserve, I should say, in this first half. Hull yet to register an effort on target. Burnley 2, Hull 0 at half-time.
So the three sides behind Leeds United are all leading in the Championship. West Brom, Blackburn, who occupy the playoff positions, still drawing 0-0. Which is the score here at Celtic Park on BBC Radio 5 Live, with less than 10 minutes to go to half-time. And it's on this near side the left where Bayern have got a free kick that Kimmich places the ball down, no more than a yard in from the left touch line, must be about 25 yards out from goal. The right arm goes out wide but stays relatively low as he hits a right-footed ball in, aimed towards Harry Kane, and it loops behind. That will be a goal kick. Came off a Bayern head just before it reached Harry Kane. Pat.
It's a bit of a relief for Celtic. I mean, Schmeichel's been very good for Celtic, but if there is a weakness in his game, he's not brilliant with the ball at his feet, but when you put the ball into there, he's not utterly dominant, coming and claiming the ball. And every time you get a free kick in that sort of area, it is a concern for Celtic. The ball in wasn't good enough on that occasion, much to Brendan Rodgers' relief.
He's made 2 good saves in this first half. The first from Elise, and that second one, that downward header from Harry Kane, as Kasper Schmeichel, who's kept 22 clean sheets in his 38 appearances this season. Incidentally, they're back underway at Goodison in that Merseyside derby, where it's Everton 1, Liverpool 1. Goalless here as Neuer plays it short and forward. Eric Dyer back towards Neuer, dinks it up in the air over the head of Adamida. As a result, it took time for it to settle for Eric Dyer, but he got it up towards Sane, but then Celtic win the ball on the halfway line.
It's the noise you get out of the Celtic fans just when they get possession. That's all they want, possession. A little bit of the ball, hold it, somehow try to get into that final third and get your talented attackers on the ball running at people. They just haven't been able to do it. And I have to admit, you're hearing a lot of noise in the background. You may not realise this. It's mostly from Bayern Munich fans, isn't it?
Yeah, you can hear the beat of the drum as they would have enjoyed the many a bar or 3 in Glasgow this afternoon. McGregor for Celtic, out towards Taylor, quickly gets it forward towards Maida. Chance now to run at Lima. Maida with his pace works over a low cross, cleared first time by Upamecano, only as far as McGregor, who gets the ball back from Taylor. He's 30 yards out from goal for Tate, and his pocket picks, and all of a sudden Bayern through Goretzka can come through the middle. Goretzka to Harry Kane, cut out by Carter Vickers midway through the Celtic half. Engels lays it off. McGregor, Maida had to curve his run. Hatate finds Maida. Celtic attacking now. Maida, edge of the area. Upamecano again was there. Hatate tries to win the ball back. Maida goes in against Upamecano, who digs out the ball. The Celtic crowd certainly enjoyed that.
Just a moment, it's just a moment, maybe 2 moments where they've got the ball in the final third. They haven't created anything out of it, but the lift they're getting, and if you are a player and you know your fans are behind you that much, that still gives you a lift. Even though you've got very little impact in the game, you will know that it only takes one break if it's still 0-0.
Johnston tight up behind Sane, wins the ball in the midfield. Celtic have the ball. We've got about 6 minutes to go to half-time. Celtic 0, Bayern Munich 0. It's a crackling atmosphere inside Celtic Park. Now you can hear Scottish voices and some. McGregor. Taylor on that left-hand side. Maida gives it back to the left-back. They continue to exchange passes, and all the time advancing down further into the Bayern half.
Yeah, but control, possession, you haven't seen that at all from Celtic in the game so far, and that was the question I was asking before. You know, Bayern are going to play at that really quick pace, but can they keep it up for the entirety of the game?
Kuhn, little flick towards Johnston on this near side to right, went out of play.
It's a real difficult. Kuhn's given the ball away 3 or 4 times now in very important position. However, he's won it back there.
He has, and he gives it towards Ida, and Ida invites the challenge from Guerrero. I've got to say, I thought that was a corner kick. There's no other reason also why Ida would actually stop. He was happy to let it run out of play, but instead the assistant referee said it's a goal kick.
Well, the assistant referee's right beside it. He's only 10 yards away from it, a wee bit more distant from it, but it very much looked like it should have been a Celtic corner.
Goodison Park, John Murray.
Everton 1, Liverpool 1, 4 minutes played in the second half. Bettel for Everton, Liverpool equalising through McAllister early in the first half. It's been spiky all the way through, and we've got another stoppage now because James Garner went down after a flailing arm from McAllister caught him in the face. So 1-1, all to play for.
1-1 there, 0-0 here. 4 minutes to go to half time. Dyer out to Lima. He talks about those possession stats for Bayern, and you were saying that, you know, it's unusual for Celtic. Gavin Wallace has just told me that Celtic's average possession stats here at Celtic Park this season are 75%, so roles have been reversed.
Absolutely 100% reversed, you're correct. But you know, they need to understand that, they need to learn it. They're not used to it, but as I say, it happened early in the season against Atalanta, and they managed that. So certainly Brendan would have worked on that, hopes it wouldn't have happened, but they've just not been able to hold the ball well enough. And Celtic are usually very, very good, as those stats suggest, at that. But in that midfield today, when they've had those little chances, they've given it away a wee bit too easy.
Elise sprays the ball out towards the left-hand side. A leaping Sane controls it. Left-hand side of the box, down towards the byline. Johnston goes with it, gets the sliding challenge in. Johnston was saying that the ball had already gone out for a goal kick. The referee has awarded a corner, despite Celtic's protests. Schmeichel's not happy. And once again, the big men come up from the back, up at Meccano, Dyer, and Lima is the one who will just go on the cover as he trots and walks his way back towards the centre circle. Corner kick to Bayern, 0-0, 3 minutes to go to half-time.
Well, that's all Celtic need just now. They're not getting a kick of the ball. They've been outplayed completely, and the referee's giving them nothing either.
Kimmich waits to take it on this near side, the Bayern left. The right arm goes aloft. He goes deep towards the far post. Harry Kane was there, and he was beaten to it by Johnston, the Canadian international, who has been in touch with Alphonso Davies, but he is out injured at the moment. His fellow Canadian with a hamstring injury picked that up against Feyenoord earlier on in the Champions League campaign. Johnston was saying that he hopes he might come up against him in the return leg.
I don't want to see Davis. He's a fabulous attacking fullback.
Corner on the other side now, the right. It's an in-swinger. Harry Kane unmarked. Header inside the 6-yard box into the side netting, 0-0.
Well, you watch that and you think, is it going to be one of those nights? Because Harry Kane at the back post, nobody on him. Now it's an acute angle, but how many times out of 100 does Harry Kane at least hit the target from there? You've got to say 99. And on this occasion, heads it down and misses by a couple of feet, as much as that. I think Harry Kane can't believe it. He's had 2 decent chances from headers now.
He has, but unable to add to his 28 goals that he's scored in 28 appearances. But here he is, twisting. Musiala beaten to the ball by Hatate. Hatate on the edge of the area to Engels. Engels couldn't play the ball forward, but hangs on to the ball crucially for Celtic. Plays it back, short ball, McGregor towards Trusty. Under 2 minutes remaining to half-time here on 5 Live. Here is Carter Vickers. To Trusty now again, the 2 central defenders. Carter Vickers, who missed the game against Aston Villa. Celtic responded very, very well to going 2 goals down inside 5 minutes, and were back level with parity at the break at 2-2. An entertaining game it was, as Aston Villa avoided the need for the playoffs that night. Celtic always knew it was going to be a tall order.
Yeah, but they gave them confidence that they did score those 2 goals, and either give them half a chance, and certainly the first goal was a brilliant goal. The Celtic had a good bit of possession there, but they went backwards. They just couldn't find any answers going forward. They didn't have any options going forward. The only options they've got for the 2 centre backs is McGregor, but he's been closely marked. Other than that, there are no safe options to go forward.
And aside from the goal that was disallowed inside the opening 30 seconds, Celtic haven't created anything else, as we're about to find out how much added on time there will be here at Celtic Park, where it remains 0-0. Guerrero, Musiala, little flick inside towards Goretzka. Musiala goes to ground. The referee says let's keep the game moving. Refereeing the game very, very well is the Spanish official at the moment. Here is Upamecano, who hits the ball towards Elise, looking to get it over the top of Taylor. Elise comes on the inside of Taylor. Elise with a shot and rifles the ball past Schmeichel. Fabulous goal by Mikel Elise, and Bayern Munich do get their goal before half-time, and what a strike it was too.
If any player in this park deserves a goal, it's Mikel Elise. He has been extraordinary, and that was an extraordinary goal. Simple ball over the top, gets a little bit of a break, lucky break, comes off a defender, but when he's got the ball and he's driving into the box, nobody's going to stop him, and he has nailed that. I mean, it looks as if actually it goes into roughly the middle of the goal, and you wonder about Kasper Schmeichel, but he's hit it with such incredible force. It's a brilliant goal, and it's been coming. We've been talking about it for a while. It's definitely been coming.
It was a left-footed, unstoppable effort that gave Schmeichel. I mean, he only had one thing on his mind, didn't he?
I mean, oddly enough, I said to you beforehand, you were talking about Harry Kane. I said the one player I don't want to see the ball going to, or Celtic fans don't want to see the ball going to, is Elise. That's why. He looks, I mean, he was a fabulous player for Crystal Palace, but wow, he is special now, and that's the last kick of the ball now.
That is the last kick of the ball. Mikel Elise with his 11th goal of the season, and a stunning strike gives those Bayern supporters something to celebrate. Celtic 0, Bayern Munich 1. Steve.
Pat, they just needed half-time. They so needed half-time, and they got so close to it.
Yeah, I was probably talking about it from 20 minutes before the whistle was blowing. But they needed to get there because it felt as if it was desperation, just hanging on. And they were getting closer and closer and closer. And just, I looked at the clock at 2 minutes before and thought, oh, they're going to make it. That'll be fine. That'll be okay. And then that one ball out to Elise there. And to be fair, Elise, he is beautiful on the ball. He looks as if he's comfortable and relaxed, utterly in control of it. He's seeing everything. He's very, very, very special player. We know how special he was at Palace. We knew just about everybody wanted him. You can see why now, because he's gone up another level. And it reminded me so much of a player. Many, many years ago, I was at this ground and watched Celtic play against Real Madrid. And Laurie Cunningham was playing for Real Madrid. And he has got exactly that look about him. He looks almost otherworldly against other players.
I wonder whether Brendan Rodgers might have something to say about the disallowed goal. It was one of those where, because Ida is in an offside position, and I guess you could say he's in the keeper's eye line, that's why it's been chalked off. But equally, the defender is in front of Ida. So if the goalkeeper's vision is blocked, it's blocked by the defender before anybody else. But I suppose lateral door and all that, Pat.
Yeah, and if you're offside, you're offside. That's what they'll say. You need your breaks in this game. It's one of those ones that, from that description there, we didn't get a good view of it here. I've managed to get a little angle on it now. Beforehand, I couldn't see it in real time. I couldn't see a problem with it, but that's why we have VAR. They've had a good look at it. They seem to know what they're talking about most of the time, but you're right. Brendan will be, as they say in the business, a bit disappointed.
Celtic 0, Bayern Munich 1. As Ian Dennis said earlier, it is a night for the senses. Back to Goodison, John Murray.
Yes, the level, the volume here at Goodison has been turned up again early in the second half. It is Everton 1, Liverpool 1, as it has been since the 16th minute of the match. Beto scored to give Everton the lead. Alexis McAllister headed Liverpool level. I mean, there is so much passion and spirit. There's not a huge amount of quality on show. I thought with the early goals that we might be on for something special to match the occasion, but not so. It's been a controlled Liverpool display for the most part. They've got their sort of mindset here is, if they get a draw out of this, that'll do very nicely, and then if they happen to win it, then all well and good. But it's quite an even match, and we've just had a moment of contention when Doucouré seemed to be tripped by Bradley, who was on a yellow card. The place was baying for a second yellow, but Michael Oliver, after his recent controversy with Miles Lewis-Skelly, said no, and I think it was the right decision. So Everton 1, Liverpool 1 early in the second half here.
John Bennett is keeping across the Champions League football for us tonight, away from Celtic Park.
And the Italian giants, AC Milan, Steve, struggling against Feyenoord, just heading towards half-time here. Feyenoord 1, AC Milan 0. Kyle Walker made his first Champions League start for AC Milan. João Felix in the team as well, but it was Feyenoord who scored with their first shot, a really tame shot. Igor Paixão, his effort slipping through the goalkeeper, Mike Magnon. He hit the bar as well later on. So Feyenoord on top in that one, 1-0 up. It's Monaco 0, Benfica 0. Low-key, underwhelming game, this one, although Alvaro Fernandez did have a shot just wide for Benfica early on. It was 3-2 the last time they met in the league stage. And the early game finished Club Brugge 2, Atalanta 1. Brilliant win for the Belgian side, but one of the softest penalties you will ever see. The Atalanta defender Hein just swinging his arm back, made contact with Nilsson, the Club Brugge attacker. Penalty given, and after the game, Steve, Gianpiero Gasperini, the Atalanta head coach, said this sport is now going in a direction that is nothing to do with football. Club Brugge 2, Atalanta 1.
He's always had a way with words. John, thank you very much. In the Championship, half-time at Bramall Lane, but not before a second goal of the night, Adam Cottier.
No, for Middlesbrough. So the half-time score here is Sheffield United 1, Middlesbrough 1. The goal was a penalty from Delano Bergsorg, his third goal in as many games. The penalty given after a corner from the left, went into the box. George Edmondson went up for a header, the defender, and Edmondson had his shirt pulled by Jack Robinson. So Bergsorg stepped up and sent a right foot shot low into the net. Jesserin Raksaki had given Sheffield United, a dominant Sheffield United team, the lead here with a tap in after a great forward burst. That after Samuel Illing Jr. had given the ball away upfield for Middlesbrough. Borough barely ventured forward in the match, but then got their penalty, and at half-time it's 1-1.
Blackburn in a right mess off the pitch. What about on it? Half-time at West Brom, Lee Blakeman.
Goalless, Steve. Blackburn, as you were hinting at there, without manager John Eustace tonight as he continues talks with Derby. West Brom with the game's best chance, a Hegham header hitting the post. Blackburn's one shot on target was from Tyrese Dolan, but it was easily saved by Joe Wildsmith in the West Brom goal. Needs a goal this game because it's been very dull without one. West Brom 0, Blackburn 0.
In the 7:45 kick-off, Swansea 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Bristol City leads Stoke City by a goal to 0. What about Burnley against Hull? Nick Hatton.
Just into the second half, Steve. Burnley 2, Hull City 0. Nothing more than Burnley deserved, to be honest. They've been totally dominant in the first half, scoring after just 3 minutes. Bashir Humphreys from distance, doubling that lead 20 minutes in through Zian Fleming, his header from 6 yards out. Fleming could have had a hat-trick in the first half, a shot wide on the angle and then blazing over from 6 yards out as well. Burnley have been as good as Hull City have been poor. They have yet to register an effort on target, Hull. So Burnley with a 2-0 lead and looking good for that record 10th consecutive clean sheet. Burnley 2, Hull 0.
Plymouth still 2-0 up against Millwall. What about Sunderland Luton, Rob Law?
Sunderland 1, Luton 0, just 5 minutes into the second half. Sunderland were dominant in the first 45. Steve, Luton could barely get out of their own half. Wilson Isidore, Chris Rigg both had Everts on goal before Enzo Lefebvre whipped one into the back of the net to put the Black Cats into the lead. His first goal in almost 2 years. Luton with work to do in the second half. A win would take them out of the bottom three. You do feel they've got a mountain to climb now, though. They've started this second half much better, but still remains Sunderland 1, Luton 0.
So we'll keep you right up to date with the final Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. Still 1-1 in that game. Everton versus Liverpool, of course. Second half commentary on the way in the Champions League. Celtic 0, Bayern Munich 1. So we'll be back there after the news on 5 Live with Dan Maudsley.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Thank you. Good evening. Donald Trump has said negotiations between the United States and Russia to end the war in Ukraine will start immediately after he held separate phone talks with both Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky. He described his conversation with President Putin as lengthy and highly productive. Earlier, the US Defence Secretary spoke to a meeting of Kyiv's allies in Brussels, as our correspondent Sarah Smith explains.
At a NATO meeting in Brussels, the US Defence Secretary was saying that for Ukraine to want to get back all the territory that it had before any Russian incursions was unrealistic and illusory. None of this will sound at all good to President Zelensky, but that gives us a sense of the mood between these world leaders.
Well, in the last few minutes, we have been getting more details from the White House, with President Trump saying that he and President Putin are expected to meet in Saudi Arabia. That would involve the Saudi Crown Prince. And he has also said that he hasn't committed to going to Ukraine. The Prime Minister has told the families of 3 people who were killed in an attack in Nottingham in 2023 that a public inquiry into what happened will take place in a matter of weeks. Barnaby Webber, Grace Malikumar and Ian Coates were stabbed to death by Valdo Calacane, who has paranoid schizophrenia. The statutory inquiry will have the power to compel doctors and police officers involved in Calacane's case to give evidence. Egypt and Qatar are stepping up efforts to rescue the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. A Hamas delegation is in Cairo to talk to Egyptian mediators. Yesterday, Israel said the ceasefire would end if Hamas did not return its hostages by noon on Saturday. And Sean Diddy Coombs has filed a $100 million lawsuit against the American TV network NBC over a recent documentary made about him. The rapper is currently in a New York prison awaiting trial for sex trafficking and racketeering charges, which he denies.
Vincent Kompany is a Premier League legend.
Goal from the Manchester City captain. They'll remember that for years and years and years.
And now he's an up-and-coming head coach who's had a meteoric rise from Anderlecht, promotion and relegation with Burnley, to being appointed at one of the biggest clubs in world football.
Bayern Munich have confirmed the appointment of Vincent Kompany.
It feels like Kompany is the golden boy in football management right now, and I want to find out why.
He's been a trailblazer quite a lot of his life, quite a lot of his career.
This is Football Daily. Vincent Kompany, the golden boy. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport.
The Champions League with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Changes at Goodison. John Murray.
Everton 1, Liverpool 1, 25 minutes to play. Yes, Liverpool making a couple of changes. I must say, Steve, Michael Oliver, the referee's got his hands full here in the second half. But the changes, mentioned the fact that Liverpool's starting a league match without an Englishman in the starting lineup today. But they've brought 2 on. Trent Alexander-Arnold coming on for Conor Bradley, who was on a yellow card. And Curtis Jones coming on into the midfield for Ryan Gravenberch, which was a surprise, although he did walk off the field. So those 2 changes made. We've just had a big shout there. Szoboszlai going down in the Everton penalty area. I think Oliver got that right. No penalty there at the other end. Konate handballed it in the box, but Michael Oliver was having nothing to do with that, despite the noisy shouts for a penalty there. So 1-1 after Beto scored for Everton and McAllister for Liverpool with the equaliser. 1-1.
It's worth pointing out as well, John. I mean, we've obviously been talking so much about the occasion. It's a massive game at both ends of the table too.
Yes, that's right, although Everton's recent run means that they are 9 points clear of the relegation zone, but Liverpool at the top looking to stretch that 6-point lead and make their position even stronger.
All right, let's go over to the Match of the Day studio. BBC One 10:40, Chris Sutton, Nader Manua, Guillaume Balaguer with Gabby Logan for Champions League highlights. Chris is back with us. Is it nicer over there, Chris, or over here?
I'll say the same, Steve.
The same.
I enjoy both.
I thought
both
you might.
places.
Thoughts on the first half then?
I think Celtic have been outclassed, in truth. I think they've been slightly tentative in possession, and that would disappoint Brendan Rodgers. But we spoke earlier about Brendan's record in European competition at the top level, and Celtic under Brendan Rodgers only being able to play one way. I think that they have been balanced in terms of the way that they have set up, and he'd have loved to get at half-time 0-0. That hasn't been the case. Brilliant goal from Elise. Greg Taylor, always worry about him at this level, the top level in 1v1 situations. He may feel is slightly unfortunate because I think the ball comes off his knee, goes back to Elise, but we only know too well, Steve, after seeing Elise for years and years, you cannot let him inside on that left foot of his. It's it's a wonderful left foot, and it was a brilliant finish. But I can't say that Bayern Munich don't deserve it. They have been the dominant team, and Celtic need to offer more going forward. And now maybe because Bayern Munich have scored, that may force Brendan Rodgers into maybe making a change or two. He's got Jota on the bench, and Jota's a ball carrier. Celtic have struggled to get up the pitch, and that's been their issue. And Bayern Munich have been brave with their press, as they are against everybody. But Bayern Munich are in total control. So Celtic do have to respond in some way, shape, or form.
One way or the other, it's bound to be a more open second half, isn't it? Because even though Celtic might get caught on the counter, they've got to try and get back into it now.
Yeah, I think so. I still think there has to be balance, Steve, but they need to show greater intent. I don't think they had a shot on target in the first half. I mean, nearly the opening sort of half a minute, Nicholas Kuhn with the with the effort which did go in, but Adam Eder was interfering and he was in an offside position, so no complaints over that. I just think the Celtic looked a little bit fearful. They're playing a superior team. We know that, but remember Callum McGregor saying this was Celtic's chance at home, and I think the crowd have been extremely patient, but I think they'll be more demanding in the second half. It's like Celtic have got nothing to lose as far as I can see. The expectation this season, that they've exceeded expectations in many respects, getting to this stage, so they may as well sort of get the shackles off and still need to play with a bit of balance, but be braver in the second half and have that confidence going forward. They haven't really combined, Adam Eder, Maida, Nicholas Kuhn. There hasn't been any combination play and link up and understanding. Hence why, look at the bench and think, well, who can change this game for Celtic in an attacking sense? And it is Jota, and there will be Celtic fans out there thinking, well, this is why we should never have let Kyogo go without an adequate replacement.
Cheers, Chris. Bring us back one of those prawn sandwiches, yeah?
I will do.
Thanks, Chris. Chris Sutton, Match of the Day, Champions League highlights, 10:40 tonight, BBC One. Goal at Sunderland in the Championship. Rob Lowe.
An hour gone, Sunderland 2, Luton 0. Wilson Isidore with a mazy run. Got a deflection as the ball came back into his path inside the area. He finished low to double Sunderland's advantage in their promotion push. 3 in 4 now for Isidore. Sunderland 2, Luton 0.
Thanks, Rob. Quick reminder, India have won that latest ODI against England by 142 runs, bowled them out for 214 in less than 35 overs. So England have lost that series 3-0. They've already lost the T20 series 4-1. Champions Trophies next. That one starts on the 19th. There'll be commentary across the tournament on 5 Sports Extra. Nearly ready to go for the second half at Celtic Park. Pat Nevin, Chris was just talking about the balance. It's not an easy balance to find because they do need to get back into it sharpish.
Some might think it's an impossible balance.
Yeah.
Because if you go on slightly too gung-ho against this team, the pace they've got, particularly in the wide areas, will shred you. So the Celtic, if you don't come away from this game, with it, probably at least a draw, you're not going through. So it's going to at some point have a little bit of a go at it. So I think it will all arise, go around what Chris Sutton was saying there. Jota at some point will have to be brought on. I don't know if he'll bring him on at half time here, but Kuhn hasn't been holding the ball up well enough. Jota's a wee bit better than that, but the question remains, is he fully match fit yet?
Big 45 minutes, all yours, Ian.
Thanks, Steve. Two teams just taken to the field. Bayern in their black kit haven't made any changes, so they have Neuer in goal, Kimmich, Upamecano, Dyer and Guerrero, Lima, Goretzka, Musiala, Elise the goal scorer, Sane and Harry Kane. In the second half, Bayern Munich, the Bundesliga league leaders, will be playing from left to right against Celtic in their white and green hoop shirts and their white shorts, who have Schmeichel in goal, Johnston, Carter-Vickers, Trusty and Taylor the defence, Hatate, McGregor and Engels, with Kuhn, Eder and Dyson Maida up front for Celtic. We'll be playing from right to left as our referee, Jesus Hill Manzano, in his bright orange referee jersey, looks at his watch, waits for the go-ahead, and this game will restart. A huge 45 minutes as we are underway. And when they beat RB Leipzig here earlier in the season, the German side took the lead. Celtic responded by going on to win by 3-1. But Brendan Rodgers would just take one here tonight against a much better side in Bayern Munich. When you think that actually all of Celtic's victories at home were against eliminated teams from that league phase, Leipzig, Young Boys and Bratislava. As Lima forward, Elise edge of the area, back heels the ball, Kimmich with a first-time shot, Schmeichel with a save, goal at Goodison, John Murray.
It is Mo Salah who scores for Liverpool. Everton have had more of it in the second half, not able to take their chances. But if you ever want a man to take a chance, it's Salah at the other end after the ball was driven across the penalty area. Salah at the back post, 6 yards out, scores for the 27th time for Liverpool this season, and the leaders are in front in the final Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. Everton 1, Liverpool 2.
And looking also to go 9 points clear of Arsenal at the top of the table. Regular updates for the 17 minutes that remain. We'll bring you a reaction to that match at Goodison before we hand you to Tony Livesey for Late Night Livesey at 10:30 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Bayern lead by a goal to nil. Have a corner kick over on that far side. Incidentally, there is a political banner that has been displayed by the North Curb where the Celtic ultras are, that I would imagine would face repercussions from UEFA, Pat.
Yeah, UEFA often say that they don't want political slogans portrayed in it. So I think the official who will be watching it will not be able to ignore that.
No, it was unfurled at half-time, and it has remained hanging down from that corner, which is the Lisbon Lions end of the ground here at Parkhead, as Trusty's actually gone down inside the centre circle. Plymouth have got a 4th goal in the Championship. So Plymouth, who before tonight were 4 points adrift, what a huge win that will be against Millwall by 4 goals to nil. Elsewhere in the Championship, Bristol City still leading Stoke City by a goal to nil. Burnley are ahead 2-0, Sunderland 2, Luton 0. Swansea Sheffield Wednesday is goalless. Sheffield United Middlesbrough 1-1, and West Brom Blackburn is also 0-0. So play is about to resume. Bayern still have a corner kick far side the left. They lead by a goal to nil. Kimmich to take it. In it goes. Upamecano, I thought, was going to get a free chance to run that in goalwards. Johnston, though, the Celtic number 2, got the ball away just in the nick of time. Ball rolled in. Sane comes onto the ball. Shoots. Schmeichel low down. Took a deflection on its way through. Another corner kick for Bayern.
Very similar start to the second half as what we had for most of the first half. Bayern have been consistently in Celtic's half of the pitch, and they're looking sharp, looking lively again. They've got a great lift themselves, getting that goal just in the last kick of the ball from Elise. But they don't look as if they're a team that want to sit back with that, do they? They look like a team that wants to finish it off here.
Yeah, they're looking for a goal to increase their lead and give them somewhat of a cushion. Kimmich with a corner from the left-hand side, and Harry Kane with the volley at the far post, left-footed, and Harry Kane doubles Bayern's lead, and Celtic really now have a lot of work to do. Celtic 0, Bayern Munich 2.
Mentioned in the first half, the levels of concentration you have to have against teams like this, but particularly when you're under absolute pressure for almost the entirety of the game, you can't switch off. And you know what? If there's one player on the pitch you don't want to switch off of it in that goal area, it's Harry Kane. He is on his own, totally and completely. Nice little volley in, but you can't let Harry Kane stand in his own from a corner kick, and he can kick the ball in with a volley.
Blackburn Rovers are leading at the Hawthorns in the Championship. West Brom 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. But Harry Kane, 4 minutes into the second half, has increased Bayern's lead. Let's get news of that goal. Lee Blakeman.
Really well taken by Mac Targay. Fell to him 6 yards out from a corner. Put it in on the turn. No Eustace, no problem. West Brom 0, Blackburn 1.
Well, from a Celtic point of view now, to go 2-0 down with a goal on the stroke of half-time and then 4 minutes into the restart, nightmare scenario.
I mean, horrible scenario, but if you have to be honest about it. That's a fair scoreline. Considering the way the game's gone, considering the chances, you know, it's at least a fair scoreline, because Bayern have been that much better. And what Brendan Rodgers will be thinking just now, for goodness sake, don't give another one away quickly, because it could get ugly if you do that.
Yes, it could. Here is Elise, bouncing ball headed away by Taylor. Before that Atalanta game that you'd referenced in the first half, that kept 1 clean sheet in 39 Champions League matches. Before tonight, they'd kept 3 clean sheets in their last 6. As Kuhn on the right-hand side. He's got Engels going ahead of him. Engels now, low ball in. Hatate strikes it, outstretched leg by Kimmich. diverts the ball behind. That was better from Celtic.
Very, very good move there. Played it well, held off it well. But remember, I suppose it's hoping and holding out some sort of hope. Celtic were 2-0 down against Aston Villa.
Yes.
They managed to get a couple of goals back, and that was away from home, but this is still a huge ask.
Bayern have conceded against some of the whipping boys in that league phase, Bratislava and Dinamo Zagreb. As the corner comes in, headed out by Upamecano, edge of the area, lovely first touch by Elise. Closed down though by Hatate. Celtic try and win the ball back. Ball out with Trusty on this near side, and Elise runs away off his legs, and Celtic get a throw as Benfica are leading against Monaco. Monaco 0, Benfica 1. The Greek international Pavlidis has scored for the Portuguese side. Here is Trusty. Maida back then with Taylor. They've never really had a sustained spell in the game though, Celtic, have they?
Nowhere near it. Just a couple of breaks, and the Celtic fans try to get behind the team when they go over the halfway line, never mind get into dangerous positions. But the players that Celtic fans want on the ball, they want Maeda on the ball. I think he's had one run at his defender so far in the game, and certainly Ida, he's worked hard, but he's hardly had a sniff. No support, and certainly no service either.
Harry Kane with a finish that takes 29 appearances, 29 goals this season. And it's 73 goals in 74 since he moved to Germany. 22 assists thrown into that as well. A bittersweet moment for Harry Kane.
Yeah, it's fantastic for him. I said before the game that he's one behind a goal a game for Bayern Munich, so he would need 2 today. You wouldn't bet against him getting it, would you? At the end of this game, he Celtic had another little bit of a break there. I'll give him his due. He tried to be his defender, but once again he gave the ball away, and Celtic's little bit of a holding on to the ball, a little bit of possession, a little bit of a half chance to get something done. It came to nothing. If you go past a player there, you need to make sure that you don't give it away easily, and he gave it away too easily then. It must be a temptation for Brendan Rodgers now to make that change.
I was just going to ask you, 53 minutes in, Celtic trailing by 2-0. When do you think he'll introduce Jota?
If they go another goal down, I think he'll be tempted not to introduce him, just to keep him safe, because don't really know how match fit he is. He's come on as sub, yes, since he come back, but he's not played a huge amount of football. But at this point in time, you think maybe 65, something like that, give him a little bit of a run out. Surely he's capable of doing that.
There's a stoppage in play. There's no sign of VAR having a look at anything, but the referee at the moment is talking to...
I just wonder if they're trying to get rid of that banner we're talking about.
Ah, yes.
It may well be that, I'm not sure.
The Bayern players have surrounded the referee, so they're talking to him on the edge of the penalty area, and now all of a sudden that political banner is being gathered in. So one would appear, there's no indication that it's...
It may be, it may not be, I'm not sure. It's impossible to see what else is going on. Upamecano's changing his boots. I'm not sure if it's that possibility.
A potential penalty.
Really?
Well, again, you wouldn't know, would you? There's no mention of VAR.
Nothing at all.
The spectators are bewildered inside the stadium. So
it's completely and utterly at a loss. And this is why a lot of people were having a laugh at the fact that the referee was talking at some of the recent games. I want to hear that. I want to give us information. People have paid money to come here.
Yeah.
Keep us involved. Keep us informed.
Well, Bayern still lead by 2-0. Carlos Del Cerro Grande is the VAR official. I mean, it's a lengthy delay.
Well, he's coming over to look.
He's been told to come and have a look. This would be a penalty for Celtic, incidentally. So he's been instructed, the referee, and after that lengthy wait, Jesus Hilmanzano has been told to come and have a look at his monitor.
Do you know what? They might get this, because the left foot came out, it was inside the box, it definitely happened inside the box. It didn't look like much, he stayed down. I'm trying to see who it was it McGregor?
It's Engels, I think.
Yes, it is. Do you know what?
Upamecano stands on the foot of Engels.
He's going to get it. I'm convinced we're going to get a penalty kick here.
Well, there must be something in it for the referee to be told. But again, my point is, for the paying spectator, you're none the wiser.
That took a huge amount of time to say we're having a look at a possible penalty kick. No reason to take that amount of time.
And, by the way, the referee is having a good, hard look at this as well on the monitor, which is down the tunnel, or towards the tunnel, in between the two dugouts here at Celtic Park. So Bayern lead by 2-0. Only now, on the monitor, is there a potential penalty review. But, I mean, how late is that?
Well, it was very, very slow in Manchester City another day then, wasn't it? Very, very slow to get one of the decisions made. But I suppose the argument would be, as long as you get it right.
Even Harry Kane's complaining to the fourth official with his arms out open wide, saying, what's the delay?
But here he is now, the referee.
He comes back, had a look, and says no penalty.
I have to say, that huge amount of time, and considering he stood on his foot, and he did stand on his foot, and it's inside the box, I'm surprised at that.
Gavin Wallace says that he'd kicked the ball away first at Upper Meccano.
Still not allowed to kick people in the box, you know. That's the rules. It doesn't matter if you kick the ball away, you're not allowed to kick people in the box. Them's the rules.
I mean, the thing is that the VAR clearly thought there was something in it to instruct the referee to have a look at it.
Well, there's been 2 or 3 decisions that Celtic haven't, just little ones like corners for, corners against, that they haven't got tonight. That's a big one. That's a huge call. That is one that, well, certainly in the highlights programme tonight, that will be debated.
BBC 1, 10:40. Chris Sutton and Neda Manua are the pundits we heard from them earlier on. But sometimes you need a little bit of luck to go your way. Celtic have had a goal disallowed in the opening 30 seconds, and now a penalty which the VAR clearly thought there was something in it, and yet the referee sticks to his guns and says no. And in many ways, you've got to admire him for that.
I'll pass on that question here. No, you admire him for the fact that, you know, he believes he's made the right decision. He's gone ahead and look at it. He's taken his time to have a look at it. He's not been, you know, arrogant enough to say, no, I'm not going to bother with that too much. I just find it quite unusual that most of the time when you step in somebody's foot and it's inside the box, it's usually a penalty kick.
Yeah, but it's something that we don't see very often in the Premier League, where the referee goes with his initial verdict, is it?
Yeah, that's true.
Bristol City have got a second goal at home to Stoke City in the Championship, and Monaco incidentally are down to 10 men as they trail at home by a 0-0 against Benfica. Celtic 2-0 down, coming forward, Kuhn right hand side, Johnston on the overlap, early ball in, looking towards Ida, and then it's cleared away by Guerrero, won back by Carter Vickers. Forward ball, Kuhn central area, plays it forward, header away by Eric Dyer, and Lima, who's dropped into that right back hole, loses out, comes under challenge from Maida, pens him back in. Upper Meccano has got to clear the ball away. Back to Goodison, John Murray.
Joyous in their corner of Goodison Park on the Bullens Road side of the ground. Everywhere else very quiet, because it is Everton 1, Liverpool 2, and since Mohamed Salah scored ruthlessly in the 73rd minute, Liverpool have controlled it. Everton now not putting a glove on them. It looks like Liverpool are on the way to 3 very valuable points here, a true test of their title credentials, and I suspect Arsenal supporters are feeling very similar to the Everton supporters in the stadium here. Everton 1, Liverpool 2.
Thank you, John. We've been playing for an hour here at Parkhead, and Bayern still leads Celtic by 2-0 as Upper Meccano's ball in field. Kuhn tried with the interception to get ahead of Musiala, goes back towards Dyer. When you're in Munich next week, Pat, do you think you'd be buying some Bayern Lederhosen from the club shop? It's all part of the merchandise.
Possibly not this time. I don't think I've got the legs for it anymore.
Well, that is a wise decision, bearing in mind it's going to be about -5 next week in Germany. And that was Tony Lives's floodlit fact of the day that we had to weave into the commentary, and Tony will be on air on 5 Live after we brought you all the reaction from that Merseyside derby at 10:30 here on 5 Live.
Celtic have actually reacted quite well, haven't they, to the second goal, or maybe, you know, slight foot off the gas from the Bayern players. They aren't closing down the Celtic defenders at the moment in time. They're now a little bit happier to play on the break a little bit. I suppose Celtic players will think to themselves, you know, if they could get something, you know, they might feel angry because they feel they should have had a penalty. Some referees would have given that, some wouldn't have given it. And they've also had the ball in the back of the net as well. And they're getting a little bit more possession in this second half.
Bayern, who've won their last 7 games at home, and they've scored at least 3 goals in each, scoring 27 in the process. So that just gives you a measure of what's facing Celtic as they trail by 2-0 here at Parkhead on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Musiala had his shirt pulled by McGregor. Musiala goes to ground. The referee hasn't certainly been swayed by this wall of noise inside Celtic Park.
No, you wouldn't call him a homer. Absolutely not. But one of the good things, he's kept his cards in his pocket. He's not get too overexcited about it most of the time. And after a period of consideration, I would say one thing to you: I'll go with you with a penalty kick decision. Well done him. He took his time. He thought about it. He considered it. And that's okay. If referee do that, I'm all right with that.
I think looking at it again, it was when his left foot comes across to clear the ball out of the penalty area as Harry Kane, then the foot goes and catches Engels.
Yes, it does, but he still catches him.
Yeah.
And you could argue it's a follow through.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's a follow through, it's a penalty kick.
Yeah.
Bayern would have felt it harsh, but it's one of those ones that if he'd have given it, you wouldn't have been shocked.
Yes. Let's get an update from the Hawthorns. Lee Blakeman.
West Brom 0, Blackburn 1. West Brom with 2 goals disallowed in the last 5 minutes. An Armstrong header disallowed for a push. A Lancashire finish disallowed for offside. West Brom 0, Blackburn 1.
Thank you, Lee. Celtic forward. Out to Johnston. Plays it forward on the far side. This is Kuhn coming in. And then Celtic with Bayern now dropping off. They're going to make a double change. Gnabry and Coman are going to be coming on for Bayern Munich. So I'd imagine that will just be Sane and Musiala, just a straight swap down the 2 flanks.
I mean, that's stunning quality to bring on at any time in any game. Real quality.
Good ball in. Upamecano was forced to deal with that. There's a ball in from the Engels on the right-hand side. Had Maida and Ida trying to get on the end of it. Upamecano concedes a corner kick. Celtic are also going to make a change. Jota is going to be coming on for Celtic, trailing by 2-0 here on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Don't think they'll make it before the corner kick. Desperate to get this in. Go and attack it.
They're attacking that Jockstein stamp. In it goes now. Doesn't beat the first man. Headed out by Kimmich. Headed on by Musiala towards Sane. McGregor was back there. The referee has given a decision.
Oh, I think Celtic got a wee bit lucky there.
Now the change could be made.
Celtic have been given the decision, but Bayern are absolutely fuming because they think it was McGregor who handled the ball there. I shall see what the referee does with that one.
So Kingsley Coman will come on for Leroy Sane, and Serge Gnabry will come on for the goal scorer, and Ida will be coming off for Jota. Let's go back to Goodison. John Murray.
We're in added time, Ian. We've got 3.5 minutes to go, but Liverpool seemingly on the way to a very, very valuable victory, having been 1-0 down. It's Everton 1, Liverpool 2, and only a couple of minutes left.
Thank you, John. Schlupp is coming on, and Greg Taylor is the player who goes off. So Schlupp, who's on loan from Crystal Palace. Jota for Ida, Schlupp for Taylor. And we'll go back to the Hawthorns and Lee Blakeman.
West Brom have had 2 disallowed, and now Blackburn have got a second goal. They lead 2-0. Maktar Gay's got them both. This one, nice finish, 12 yards out. West Brom 0, Blackburn 2.
Millwall have got a goal back at home park, but Plymouth still lead by a healthy margin, 4-1 in the Championship. 65 minutes played here. So Schlupp on at left back. Jota goes to the left, Maida goes through the middle.
Yeah, he'll go through central. He certainly wasn't getting any change on this left-hand side there. Here they go, Celtic, first chance.
Ball looking towards Maida through the middle. Kuhn couldn't pick him out, blocked out for a Celtic throw. Plenty of urgency, they take that throw on the right-hand side. Engels plays it back, Johnston plays it short and forward. Kuhn looking to deliver the ball, left-footed towards the far post, claimed by Manuel Neuer and claimed comfortably.
Yeah, a little bit of a shame he couldn't get Jota on the ball. I mean, he will not lack confidence of playing against anyone. not that type of player at all. So if you can get him in the final third there, he's gone over to this left-hand side. He can play left or right. Doesn't seem to matter to him too much. But at the moment, Celtic, they're desperate for a goal. If they can get a goal now, the noise in this place may just have some sort of effect on Bayern.
It will give them something to cling to. 5 Live Sport on Saturday, by the way. The usual goal service from 3 with commentary of Manchester City against Newcastle United. Crystal Palace Everton is our game at 5:30. And then on Sunday, our 2 matches, Liverpool Wolves at 2, to be followed by Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester United, which is a 4:30 kickoff. Here, though, in the Champions League, Upamecano towards Neuer, who timed that right. Maida was running towards him, got plenty of distance on it too, did Manuel Neuer, who's retired now from the international scene after the Euros. As Celtic retreat, Guerrero picks it up over the halfway line on that far side. Kingsley Coman gives it back to Goretzka. There is more of an assured play by Bayern Munich. They're not playing with the same level of intensity now since they've got the second goal. No, they're still in control.
Nowhere near it, and they don't need to. Why should they exhaust themselves just now? Remember, they've got a Bundesliga to go for as well. They've got a second leg at their own stadium. They're in control of this. It's up to Celtic to take chances, and for Bayern Munich to be able to break when Celtic take those chances and throw maybe some fullbacks, asking them to go forward a little bit more than they have in the game so far.
Here is Eric Dyer, almost comes to a standstill, plays the ball out wide. Goretzka looking for that forward ball to Guerrero. Kingsley Coman able to get it towards Harry Kane. They work it now towards Gnabry, who hits that ball in early, does Serge Gnabry. He missed the game against Werder Bremen on Friday with illness. João Paulinho didn't in fact travel. Former Fulham player, he too was ill on Friday as they won by 3-0, clear at the top of the Bundesliga, 8 points against Bayer Leverkusen, who they play actually this weekend. It's Bayern's best start to a Bundesliga season for 9 years, but as Christian Falk was saying, they're going to be judged in Europe. That's where the pressure will come from for Vincent Kompany, and they know that Leverkusen or Atletico Madrid, one of those 2 sides, will lie in wait for the last 16 when the draw is made next week on the 21st of Feb. And Celtic, not happening for them.
No, it's not happening for them just now. And the worrying thing, although Celtic have got a little bit more of the ball now, they're creating the odd half a chance this second half since the second goal went in. But you do know Bayern Munich have got gears. They have got gears they could go into just now if they really fancied it. It's very, very clear. But if you could get a goal, it would ask a question.
Gnabry's dispossessed Schlupp into the midfield. Coman for Musiala. Musiala towards Coman. Oh, that struck one of the hands of the Celtic defenders as it reared up quite quickly. Jota picks up the ball, looks towards Maida. Maida tries to control it, can't get the better of Upamecano. Too strong. Downward header by Engels. Goes straight into to Gnabry, and Bayern are back in possession.
They are. In the desperation, if you're a forward player like Maida, like Jota, like Kuhn, you just want the ball, get the ball to give them a chance to get a one-on-one with any defender. And it's just so rare that you're going to get that, because you get very little possession, and when you get it, you've given it away too easily before you get it to those front men. But I'd love to see Jota getting a little bit of a half chance to take on Lima, just to see if he's capable of doing it.
They've conceded 2 goals in the Scottish Premiership all season here at home. 2 goals they've conceded to Bayern Munich tonight. On the German side, as Harry Kane is fouled, are in full control. Plymouth Argyle have got a 5th. Plymouth 5, Millwall 1. But the teams behind Leeds United, with the exception of Sheffield United, are all leading. Sheffield United 1, Middlesbrough 1, Burnley 2, Hull 0. And Sunderland 2 goals up against Luton Town. Another goal at Goodison, John Murray.
And Everton have equalised right at the very end. They look beaten, but James Tarkowski lashes it in after the final cross over the Liverpool penalty area. and Everton supporters have poured onto the pitch to celebrate with their team. Someone's plucked out the corner flag. They're waving that high. It looked as though it was all over, but one final attack and James Tarkowski scores. Virtually the last kick in Merseyside derbies at Goodison Park is scored by Everton. It's scored by Tarkowski, and it's Everton 2, Liverpool 2.
Remarkable. In the 98th minute, a goal that will be remembered, I'm sure, for a long, long time. Musiala threads it out. Coleman lifts the ball forward. Harry Kane lurks again. Comes out towards Gnabry. He shoots. Saved at the near post by the legs of Schmeichel. Picked up on the follow-up by Kimmich, who goes to ground inside the challenge of the penalty area. Bayern are still threatening. Kimmich has stayed down.
It's one of those ones. We'll have a look at it for a penalty kick. But I thought it's one of those ones where Kimmich, he goes to hit the ball, but there's a clearance. It's just a follow through the foot after the clearance. Not dissimilar to the penalty that he didn't give, although this one was in the air and with a lot more power. But I think that would be harsh if he gave a penalty kick for that one. But it was a sore one in Kimmich. He's not active.
It was a good save as well, wasn't it, by Schmeichel at his near post?
He came through a load of bodies. He must have seen it very, very late, but he got himself in the right position, and that's the biggest part of goalkeeping. And if you make sure you're in the right position, it will hit off any part of your body. Apparently his dad used to do that. A wee bit.
He's hit tonight as well. Kim's going to be coming on for Bayern Munich, it would seem. They're leading by 2-0. By the way, 2-2 at Goodison Park. Because it's a 7:30 kickoff, we'll bring you all the reaction from that dramatic Merseyside derby at Goodison Park here on BBC Radio 5 Live before we hand to Tony Livesey at 10:30 here on 5 Live Sport.
Do you know, usually these times I'm trying to think of what can you do Celtic to change it. It's just almost impossible to see other than be better players, and they've just been outclassed.
This is McGregor picking the ball up. John Murray, VAR check.
The goal is given, it's confirmed. After a long, long wait, there was a question of offside, but the goal has been given. Onside is the decision, and James Tarkowski, the Everton captain, with that dramatic late equaliser. Still, play has not resumed. We're just waiting for Michael Oliver to confirm it on the field.
Maida is in, and he just crosses the ball from the right-hand side. Nipped him before the goalkeeper. The angle was very, very tight on the right-hand side. It did go for goal. It went all the way across the face of goal, and the ball goes behind for a corner.
That's by a long way Celtic's best opportunity of the game so far. Very, very poor defending there. Caught there as they were trying to play it out from the back by Munich. They have got a little bit slacker these last 10 or 15 minutes. The Celtic haven't given up. It's a shame. It was a really acute angle for Maeda. Couldn't quite get it on target though.
We'll be back with John for the full-time whistle. But 2-2, that goal stood then from what John was saying. 2-0 to Bayern. Celtic, they'll have a corner. Fired in from the left. Headed out by Eric Dyer. Schlupp plays the ball out towards Hatate on that far side. Celtic in their white and green hoop shirts. Playing from right to left as we look. Schlupp, left-footed, goes long. Trusty has stayed forward inside the penalty area. Kimmich heads the ball away. Hasn't he been superb, Kimmich?
It's effortless. He reads the play. There's certain players that read the play, and you don't know how they do it. I remember Conte used to do it. Declan Rice does it as well. Kimmich is special at it.
Jota, forward. Ball played by Kuhn. Tried to thread it back towards Jota on the left-hand side of the penalty area. The back pass to Neuer. Maida with his pace almost got there. Celtic urged on. Full-time at Goodison, John Murray.
The final whistle goes on Merseyside derbies at Goodison Park. It's finished Everton 2, Liverpool 2, and we've got a fight breaking out between some of the players over in front of the Liverpool supporters. 7, 8, 9, 10 players are all scuffling together. Some stewards have come onto the pitch. Tempers have really frayed over there, and still this melee continues over on the far side of the field. Only now I think it's beginning to calm down. What a finish. James Tarkowski scoring with a volley into the roof of the net to make it 2-2 in the 8th minute of added time, when it seemed Liverpool were going 9 points clear at the top after Mo Salah struck them in front. Everton 2, Liverpool 2. What a finale.
And the reaction to come on BBC Radio 5 Live. Bayern still lead Celtic 2-0. We've got 14 minutes of normal time remaining. Bayern playing from left to right. Musiala tries to look for a shooting opportunity as he weaves his way to the edge of the area. Celtic hold him off. Plays the ball out towards Guerrero. Back towards Goretzka. It's going to be Yang coming on for Celtic.
He's been waiting about 10 minutes there, hasn't he? He's got a long time waiting to go in. He'll need another warm-up in a minute, but he's had a good little period there, and you think about it. And Celtic could have arguably had a penalty. They had that real great chance from Maeda. And by the way, Maeda closing down the goalkeeper. That's twice he's nearly caught him. Well, once he's caught him, once he's nearly caught him. Maybe he should have played a wee bit more centrally earlier. Did I not suggest that?
Just looking, the electronic board doesn't seem to be working. It's going to be Kuhn coming off. Yang will replace him. Sheffield United, Adam Kosia.
Lead by 2-1 now. Ben Brereton Diaz on as a sub, springing clear. A fine pass through from Sidney Peck, and he clipped it right-footed past the keeper. Sheffield United 2, Middlesbrough 1.
An important win for Chris Wilder's side if they can hang on, bearing in mind that Burnley and Sunderland are also leading. Liverpool 2-2 at Everton, so they're 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League. And incidentally, the fallout from that fight that John was saying, Abdoulaye Doucouré was shown a second yellow card in the 12th minute of added on time, so actually was sent off in that game. So Doucouré dismissed for Everton as it finished 2-2. We'll get all the fallout coming on very, very soon. They're not going to bring on Kim, actually, Bayern Munich. They're going to bring on Ito, who is a Japanese international. They signed him from Stuttgart in the summer, but he broke his metatarsal in July in a pre-season game. So this is actually going to be his Bayern Munich debut.
Big moment for him. Do you know about just that? A few other Japanese players are on the park as well. His teammates at international level, but a couple of changes that slowed the game down a little bit in this second half. The other change that we hardly had a chance to mention, Schlupp coming on and Olise coming off. Never get a chance to play against each other. I'm sure they did in training some time ago at Crystal Palace. Schlupp and Olise.
Yes, there's a few backstories to this game, isn't there, when you think of Carter Vickers and Harry Kane from their time together at Tottenham. But for Celtic, time is desperately running out, still trailing by 2-0. As coming forward on that far side and stopped as the cross comes in, that was towards Yang. Engels, they win a corner to Celtic. They're still trying. Just over 12 minutes remaining.
No, they won't stop. They'll keep on going. They'll have belief that they can get something. As I say, there's been quite a few opportunities in this game. Just the penalty kick, that one early on, but also Maeda now. He's beginning to frighten those two centre backs, and indeed Neuer as well. So, there might be a chance.
Corner comes in from the right hand side. Harry Kane looks to head it away. Headed back in, scuffed in. Little touch, and it beats Neuer at the near post. And Celtic do have a goal back. It was a really scruffy goal. I'm not too sure who got the final touch. Celtic don't care about that. They've reduced the arrears. Celtic 1, Bayern 2.
It certainly does in Maeda. He's going and celebrating it there just now. When the ball comes up to the right hand side, and since Celtic will not give up, they haven't given up. We're talking about that 2-0 down against Aston Villa. They got it back to 2-2, then they lost it. But they really have turned it down a bit. They've slowed it down a little bit by a minute, and they're paying the price for it now. And as I suggested, it is Maeda that scored the goal.
Daisen Maeda with the goal. He was the one credited with it. The play hasn't yet restarted just as yet. There's a VAR goal check. Meanwhile, with that VAR goal check, we'll go to Sunderland. Rob Law.
Full-time, Sunderland 2, Luton 0. Sunderland dominated from start to finish. Enzo Lefebvre opened his account for the club with a goal in the first half. Then Wilson Isidore doubled their advantage on the hour mark to keep alive Sunderland's hopes of a top 2 finish. Luton remain in the bottom 3. Sunderland 2, Luton 0.
You might recall against Young Boys, Celtic had 3 goals disallowed in the first half. That goal stands, and listen to the roar inside Celtic Park.
Well, in the past it's happened. You've got a little bit of a lift, complete control, and you know that Bayern Munich have got gears, but sometimes have to engage them. In a place like this, when Celtic's tails are up, Maeda's made some difference. I did say to you before the game, I'd love to see him central, maybe putting either wide. He has totally changed that.
Johnston with a cross, Moya can't get there, and Lima has to prevent the ball from reaching Jota. They're up and out of their seats at Celtic Park, and we have got a rousing finish.
This is unthinkable for what we've seen for the vast majority of the game. But you can't always turn it back on again. And now you're looking at Harry Kane, you're looking at Seattle, looking at a lot of those players. They just look as if they're jogging through it. They're not going to go chase down, they're not going to close down. I wouldn't be surprised if Celtic got a few more chances.
Yang comes forward. Johnston has stayed forward. Johnston with a cut back. This is an opportunity for Hatate, and the shot is blocked and goes behind. What a deafening noise!
We've waited a long time for it, a huge amount of time for it, but it's happened. And right now, Celtic, they're used to this. They've been here so many times before, particularly in domestic games. They will forget for the moment they're playing against Bayern Munich and just go and attack them.
Corner kick on that far side for Celtic, trailing by 2-1 now. In comes the corner, flat ball in. Johnston tries to get there. Bayern get the ball away. Schlupp waits for it, and then he plays the ball to McGregor. McGregor goes to the right touchline. Engels goes in field. Yang plays the ball back. McGregor. Engels has stayed out wide on the right. Down the line it goes towards Johnston. Harry Kane is on defensive duties, and the ball goes out of a goal kick. Well, we go next then on 5 Live. Nick Hatton, Burnley.
Burnley 2, Hull City 0, full time here. Burnley taking the lead just 3 minutes in through Bashir Humphries, doubling the lead on 20 through Z and Fleming. Second half less eventful from a Burnley point of view. Lyle Foster with the best of the efforts, forcing a decent save out of Panda in the Hull goal. João Pedro forcing a decent save from Trafford for Hull's only effort in the entire game. Burnley stayed third, Hull remain in the bottom 3, and Burnley become the first ever second-tier side to go 10 matches without conceding. Full-time Burnley 2, Hull 0.
Wasn't just one red card, John, it was 3.
3 red cards after that melee at the end of the match that finished Everton 2, Liverpool 2. Doucouré of Everton shown a second yellow, so he was off, and Curtis Jones also shown a red card, and also Arne Slot, the Liverpool manager, who was denied a win in his first Merseyside derby by that dramatic late equaliser from James Tarkowski. Everton 2, Liverpool 2, 3 red cards.
Reaction to come before we're off air at 10:30. Celtic trailing by 2-1 after that Maeda goal. 11 minutes from normal time, and we have still got 7 minutes remaining.
How dramatic is it now, though? Every time they get the ball at the back, they were cruising beforehand. Bayern now, they look really shaky. Maeda is closing them down. He's got an extra bit of energy because he's playing through that middle area there. If Celtic could only get the ball to him once or twice more, and to Jota on this left-hand side, they will get another chance.
That was handball from Gnabry. The referee's played the advantage. Jota plays it forward. Jota now has a chance to run. Harry Kane is bursting to get back. Jota though gets away from Harry Kane. Jota's ball in. Upamecano stands firm, heads it away. Picked up by Johnston for Celtic midway through the Bayern half. Forward ball, Hatate towards Johnson. Continues that run. Sends over the cross from the right. Jota with a downward header. Schlupp down into the ground. Strikes the heels of Gnabry. Comes out towards Trusty. McGregor gives it back towards Trusty. Forward ball to McGregor. The Celtic captain comes forward. Out to the left. Schlupp's good ball in. Upamecano manages to get something on it. And it will be Coman on that far side for Bayern Munich. And he goes to ground. No foul. Celtic throw-in.
Yeah, they're shaking. They're absolutely shaking Bayern just now. Celtic play with confidence.
Ball inside. Jota hits it first time from Hatate's square ball. I swear this main stand you can feel vibrating.
You definitely can. And just looking at Celtic just now, they're playing like Celtic. You know, I've not seen them playing like Celtic for the entirety of this game. Up until, yes, it is partly because Bayern slightly switched off. But the question's always asked, can you keep that level up, that speed up, that intensity up for the entirety of the game? Well, it would appear Bayern can't.
Well, I mentioned in the game that, they've scored 20 goals in the league phase, but they did concede against Dinamo Zagreb and Slovan Bratislava. They do have that little bit of a weakness. So they will fancy themselves, or they'd want to fancy themselves as one of the favourites, but I think they've got deficiencies in defence that will ultimately, when they come up against some of the better sides in Europe, they may well be found wanting as Harry Kane plays it back. Harry Kane then collects the ball just inside his own half. Eric Dyer forward towards Kimmich, who collects it now and moves into the centre circle. Thomas Muller is going to be coming on for Bayern Munich. Musiala out towards Lima. Jota will get there first. And by my watch, we've got 5 minutes of normal time remaining. Celtic 1, Bayern Munich 2. For
maybe some extra time as well.
Yeah.
Celtic wants it now. They're desperate for as much time as they possibly get. Maeda's tried to close down once again there, and he's given away a foul, which is a bit of a shame because Celtic were breaking forward.
When they played Borussia Dortmund and they scored the 2 early goals, it all snowballed, they capitulated, and all of a sudden they found themselves 5-1 down at half-time. They were 2-0 down, they kept on playing, they kept on plugging away. And as Thomas Müller is going to be coming on, Musiala is the player who's going to be going off. But Celtic have just given themselves a glimmer of hope. Musiala to come off, and Thomas Müller for his 736th appearance. He is the record appearance holder for the famous club of Bayern Munich.
He's not a bad player either. I mean, obviously the old head there, and he would try and get the ball. I mean, you know, he's a goal scorer, we know he's a creator as well, but he wants to get hold of the ball, a little bit more control into the game. A control that, as to be said, Bayern have lost in this last 10. It's only been 10 or 15 minutes, but that's been enough for Celtic not only to score, but get a few chances and prove that they can get a little bit of hope around this stadium.
He scored when they last met in 2017 in the group stages. Bayern Munich winning by 3-0. Been telling Manuel Neuer about this famous atmosphere at Celtic Park, which we've certainly thoroughly enjoyed here tonight. Hope you have too. It's been a pulsating noise throughout, but Celtic just hoping against hope now that they can get this second goal to make it 2-2. But Bayern have got the ball with Coman coming in off that left touchline as they play in their all-black, playing from left to right with 2.5 minutes remaining. Kimmich gives it back towards Coman. 2 central defenders, fullbacks pushed on once again. In fact, Goretzka is filling in as a left back. Gnabry tries to get the better of Schlupp, heads the ball out of play. It'll be a Bayern throw on this near side, the right level with the penalty area.
Bayern are doing exactly what a grown-up team should do. Get the ball, hold it, take it up the other end. Don't take any risk at all. If you can hold the ball, Celtic cannot score, and you know you're capable of doing that and keeping Celtic out of the game. However, with that man Maeda chasing, he can catch pigeons.
They've picked the tempo back up again, haven't they, in terms of the passing Bayern now?
Well, they said they had gears, and they did have gears, but you know, it's hard to bring them into, you know, and Celtic have gone through a few gears themselves since they got that goal.
Neuer with a clearance. Harry Kane caught by 3 Celtic players. He stayed down. The referee will have to stop the ball, stop the play. Goal at Bramall Lane, Adam Cottier.
Sheffield United have a 3-1 lead now. Anil Ahmedhodzic heading in a corner. Mark Travers, the Borough keeper, tried to catch it and didn't, and it went into an empty goal. It's 3-1 to Sheffield United.
So bearing in mind that Burnley beat Hull City 2-0, Sunderland beat Luton 2-0, Swansea City 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1 was the result at the Liberty Stadium. Plymouth beat Millwall by 5-1. That actually lifts Plymouth off the bottom of the table now. Luton replaced them. Bristol City beat Stoke by 2-0. This is how the top of the Championship looks as Harry Kane is still down. Leeds United 69 points from 32. Sheffield United 2 points behind, 67. Burnley 64. Sunderland 62.
The other game we were talking about there, the Everton-Liverpool game, those sending-offs could have a huge effect. Certainly with Everton, Doucouré is so important, and Jai injured as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, Everton may be celebrating getting a point, but they are 2 massive players.
We think there might be 8 minutes of added on time.
I think that may get a good reaction.
Which it certainly would. What are we now? Just gone 9:45 on this Wednesday night. The referee's going to give an uncontested drop ball to Celtic as it goes to Carter Vickers. Celtic 1, Bayern Munich 2. The 4th official is poised. His electronic board wasn't working earlier on when he made one of the substitutions. Tate back towards Carter Vickers. Coman goes towards him. Johnston tries to give Harry Kane the slip, plays it down that side towards Yang. Challenge comes in, and it will go out of play for a Celtic throw that Eric Dyer is quickly there. So we'll find out how much. It's 7. We were just 1 out. 7 minutes of added on time. It still gets an encouraging response as Celtic look for a late dramatic equaliser. Yang picks it up right hand side, infield, this is Johnston! What a save by Neuer as he dropped to his knees at his near post, strong wrist behind for a corner.
You know, they've not done that all night, and Johnston's brilliant at that underlapping, great understanding between him and Yang, really super save by Neuer. Told you Celtic would get chances, they're beginning to get them now.
A wall of noise in the east end of Glasgow. Celtic looking to make it 2-2. Corner kick far side the right. In it goes. Might drop to McGregor. Coman just got a touch as he slipped to take it away out of McGregor's path. Plays the ball to Engels. Back towards McGregor. Floats the ball forward. Upamecano didn't hear the shout from Neuer. Goes behind for another corner kick. Not surprised he didn't hear him either.
But that's a defence that's a bit edgy. It's a bit worried just now. You've got a goalkeeper there. He just needs to walk out and take it. Upamecano had no one near him. But he was so spooked by what's happened, particularly what Maeda's done to him in the last 10-15 minutes, that he just wants to get rid of it, and he's giving away a corner kick.
So it's a corner kick. We're inside the 2 minutes of the minimum 7 to be added on this near side, the Celtic left, playing from right to left. Engels to take it in towards the near post, bit of a scramble. Carter Vickers goes to ground, and in the end it was hammered away by Müller for Bayern Munich. Schlupp drops back inside his own half, back pass towards Schmeichel, his forward ball to Hatate. Hatate turns away from Gnabry. Carter Vickers back in possession. They work it out towards that far side where McGregor is playing almost as a right back. Johnston has stayed forward. McGregor can't keep the ball in play. It'll be a Bayern throw.
A real shame that, because what Celtic haven't been able to do for the vast majority of the game is play it out for the back, because they've had no options in midfield. But because Bayern have got tired a little bit, Celtic are getting the space to do that. They've had to wait a long time for it, possibly too long for it, but you can see it now. They're comfortable in it. They're creating those little chances, and there's certainly every single Celtic player wants to get on the ball now. They believe a little bit.
Johnston hammers the ball downfield. Maida, like a good old Duracell bunny, he will chase everything. He'll keep on running. And in the end, it goes all the way back towards Neuer. His energy levels are remarkable, aren't they?
And it is a shame, because he does play very well as a left attacking player, which he did for most of the game there. But in today's game, I did say before the game, against the two defenders, the two centre-backs, he's exactly what they don't want to play against. And he's shown that, hasn't he, in the last 10 minutes?
Kimmich to Gnabry. Little ball inside by Gnabry. Kimmich holds off Hatate, who chases after Upamecano. Hurried ball, but he finds Lima on the right touchline on this near side. By my watch, we are halfway through the minimum of 7 to be added on. Kimmich towards Dyer. Hurriedly has to get it out towards that far side. The ball kept in play by Ito, Japanese international on his Bayern debut. Coman comes back from that left touchline. Eric Dyer will go back towards Upamecano. Maida will run towards Upamecano. Hatate is also there. Jota has cut out the option to find Lima. Gnabry is the one who drops short, looking to link up with Kimmich, being pursued by Jota. Celtic, though, hunting and pressing, and the ball goes out of play for a Bayern throw.
They would just like to get the ball once, get some good possession once, get it to the wide players. Yang has come on, obviously he set up Johnson go down the right hand side earlier on there, but he's looked lively since he's come on. And you do need a little bit of legs, because there are some times players out there.
Here is McGregor, high on the chest by Schlupp, hit downfield on the half volley. Upamecano lets the ball bounce, heads it back towards Neuer, and gets enough on it towards the Bayern goalkeeper, despite the presence of Maeda.
The problem that Celtic have got just now, they do want to press, they do want to get close, but remember, they were chasing the ball for 75 minutes. They're exhausted.
Coman, his header, guides it out towards Harry Kane. Johnston will win a Celtic throw off the legs of Harry Kane, who got Bayern's second. They took the lead through a wonderful goal from Michael Olise on the stroke of half-time. 4 minutes after the restart, they led by 2-0. They've had a goal disallowed early on, did Celtic. They had a penalty award also dismissed. That Neuer save from Johnston, they could have actually come back at 2-2. Can they create one more opportunity? Cynical foul by Goretzka. Schlupp barges away off Lima. They want to take the free kick quickly to Celtic. We've got 2 minutes of added on time here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Bayern lead by 2-1. McGregor inside the centre circle. Hatate almost showed too much towards Muller, held him off. Carter Vickers out towards Yang for Celtic, far side the right. Back towards Carter Vickers again. Trusty.
Just a moment there. McGregor was beginning to get control of the game. He had 4 or 5 touches. Kimmich just went straight on him, right into him, and just said, right, you're not controlling this game, I'm going to stop you.
Outstanding as ever for Joshua Kimmich, who turned 30 last Saturday.
He is the embodiment of game awareness and match intelligence.
Yeah, just been right back, midfield, he's been absolutely everywhere, integral to Bayern tonight. Coman comes forward, making a run in off the left touchline, runs into trouble. Trusty's forward ball, Carter Vickers on the stretch, gets it to Schlupp. Schlupp now out towards Jota on this near side, the left, midway through his own half. Closed down quickly by Lima and wins Celtic. A throw off the legs of Gnabry. We're inside the last, there's a free kick about last 60 seconds, Pat.
Yeah, Lima did very well there because he knows that Jota's a decent player, so he tried to push him as far up the park as possible, and Jota's not had one chance to run at him yet.
Finished at Bramall Lane, Sheffield United have beaten Middlesbrough by 3-1. They moved to within 2 points of leaders Leeds United. Jota's ball on the left-hand side. Gives Engels something to chase. Upamecano comes across and clears. Bayern leading by 2-1. Clearance from Schlupp. A little bit misdirected, but Hatate was there to head it back towards Trusty.
I think that was a hit and hope from Schlupp. Got a little bit lucky there, playing it across his own back line without looking.
It's got to go long for Celtic, because that was Yang, had his legs taken away from him by Ito at the back. Johnston takes it quickly, looking for the run of Maida to make that run in behind the Bayern left back, but there was Eric Dyer. Celtic get a throw. By my watch, the 7 minutes are up, and in fact there is the full-time whistle. A spirited finish from Celtic, but they've got to overturn a slender deficit, and they still have so much work to do, Pat.
I would say at 2-0 it was bordering on impossible. At 2-1 there's a chance. It's a very, very slim chance, but the spirit that Celtic showed in that last 15 minutes will stand by them for the second leg. But the control that we can't forget, the control for 75, maybe 80 minutes from Bayern Munich was extraordinary. We do know that they had a lot more intent that they could have added to it as well. So yeah, there's a huge job to do, but Celtic didn't expect anything less to get through.
Elise with the first goal on the stroke of half-time. Harry Kane doubled it early in the second half. Maida with a goal at the near post flick with 11 minutes remaining. And it's finished here at Celtic Park. Celtic 1, Bayern Munich 2.
Pat Nevin, they gave it a right good go in that second half.
They did, and I'm not surprised they do that. They don't give up. I mean, to be honest, Celtic could be 5-0 down here and they wouldn't give up. They just go for it and go for it and go for it. And they're so used to playing against certain teams who fade near the end, because going all the way back to Postecoglou's time, this is a team with a lot of players in it who want to play high tempo continually, and a number of teams can't stick with them. So they know that might happen late on, and it did happen late on. Now, I don't know if it was Bayern ran out of gas or Bayern just actually took the foot off the gas. It was one of the two. But he kept on going and showed the spirit, and by the end of it, you wouldn't have moaned too much if Celtic would have got that second goal and made it a draw, because they'd spooked that Bayern defence. Maybe one thing I would have changed, as I said in the commentary, Maeda, when he went to centre forward instead of playing left attack, changed everything. He really spooked Upamecano, who really spooked Eric Dyer there, and Celtic could push on behind that, but that was only 10-15 minutes at the end of the game that happened.
It's going to be very difficult from here, but it was always going to be very difficult from here. They had to give it a go, they gave it a go, and on another night they could easily have come out of that 2-0.
Well, you could argue, right, so there was a penalty kick that they didn't get. They did a long look at that, and some referees might have given that. He does get a touch of the ball, but then he stands on the Celtic player's foot, and something, you're not allowed to do that, and it's whether he deliberately did that to shield the ball and then caught the Celtic player as well. So there's that argument. He scored a goal early on, which was an unfortunate offside as well. Maeda had another chance which he slipped right across the goal after some poor defending. So there were opportunities that Celtic had. They were nowhere near the amount of play that Bayern had, but they made opportunities, and they need to keep that in their minds, and they won't give up. Football's strange. Football's mad sometimes. Something strange could happen. The Bayern could get a man sent off in the first 10 minutes. Anything could happen. But you're right. Celtic are large outsiders for this one, but they will just give it a go.